I thought my brother would never walk again. For 3 years, I sent him $500 every month, sometimes more when the medical bills piled up. I worked double shifts at Anderson's hardware store just to keep him afloat. At 62 years old, my knees weren't what they used to be. But family is family. But then my neighbor said something that changed everything. "Frank, I think you need to check where your money's really going." Let me back up. My name is Frank Mitchell, and I've lived in Cedar Falls, Iowa, my whole life. Small town. The kind where everybody knows everybody. I never married, never had kids. My younger brother Tom was the only family I had left after our mother passed 5 years ago. On her deathbed, she made me promise to look after him. "He's always been the fragile one, Frank," she whispered, gripping my hand. "Promise me you'll take care of your brother." I promised, and I meant it. Tom was 55 when the accident happened. At least, that's what he told me. He'd been working at Morrison Construction, doing framing work on new houses around town. One afternoon in October 2022, he called me from the hospital. His voice was shaking. "Frank, I fell from the scaffolding. 20 feet. They're saying I've got 3 herniated discs, nerve damage in my left leg. The doctors, they don't know if I'll walk normal again." I drove straight to the hospital. Saw him lying there in that bed, leg elevated, face twisted in pain. The medical reports looked serious. Multiple MRI scans showing spinal injuries. A specialist from Des Moines said he'd need months of physical therapy, maybe surgery. Workers' compensation would cover some of it, but not everything. Not even close. Tom had never been good with money. Divorced twice, always living paycheck to paycheck. I knew he had maybe $800 in savings, if that. When he got discharged from the hospital, he moved into a small apartment on Maple Street. Ground floor because he couldn't handle stairs. Said he couldn't work anymore, that the pain was too intense for anything physical, and his back couldn't handle sitting at a desk all day. "I don't know what I'm going to do, Frank," he said one evening when I brought him groceries. He was sitting in his recliner, the kind with the footrest that goes up. "The disability claim is taking forever. The rent's due next week, and I've got nothing." What was I supposed to do? He was my brother, my only brother, the last piece of family I had. So I started sending him $500 a month. Transferred it straight to his checking account on the 1st of every month, regular as clockwork. Sometimes more when he needed it. $700 one month for a root canal. $600 another time when his car broke down and he needed repairs. Over 3 years, I calculated I'd sent him close to $20,000. I didn't mind, really. Well, that's not entirely true. I minded the extra work. At 62, working at Anderson's hardware store was already tough enough. I'd been there for 35 years. Ever since I graduated high school. Started as a stock boy, worked my way up to assistant manager. The pay was decent, $42,000 a year. But after taxes and my own bills, $500 a month was a real stretch. So I picked up extra shifts. Worked Saturdays, which I used to keep free for fishing at Miller's Pond. Took on the evening shifts that the younger guys didn't want. Came home at 9 p.m. with aching feet and a sore back, microwaved a frozen dinner, and fell asleep watching the news. But it was worth it. Tom was my brother. He needed me. I visited him every Sunday afternoon. Brought him groceries from the Walmart on Highway 20, the affordable stuff. Store-brand cereal, frozen pizzas, ground beef when it was on sale. We'd sit in his apartment, watch football if it was the season, or just talk. He always seemed to be in pain, shifting in that recliner, wincing when he moved wrong. "How's the physical therapy going?" I'd ask. "Slow," he'd say. "Real slow. The therapist says I'm making progress, but it doesn't feel like it. Some days I can barely get out of bed." I felt for him. I really did. Watching your younger brother, once a strong, capable guy who could frame an entire house, reduced to shuffling around his apartment in sweatpants and complaining about pain. It broke my heart. The money kept flowing. First of the month, every month, $500, like clockwork. Then came March of this year. 3 years and 5 months after the accident. I was out in my front yard, trimming the hedges on a Saturday morning. My neighbor, Bill Patterson, came walking over. Bill's a good guy, retired police officer, 68 years old, lives 2 houses down. We've been neighbors for 30 years, ever since I bought my little 2-bedroom house on Elm Street. "Morning, Frank," he said, but his tone was off. Not his usual cheerful greeting. "Morning, Bill. Coffee treating you right?" He didn't smile. "Frank, I need to talk to you about something. It's about your brother." I set down the hedge trimmers. "Tom, is he okay? Did something happen?" Bill shifted his weight, looking uncomfortable. "That's the thing, Frank. I think he's more than okay. I saw him yesterday out on Route 63, past the new subdivision they're building. And he was carrying lumber. Big sheets of plywood, loading them onto a truck." I stared at Bill. Must have been someone else. Tom can barely walk. His back. It was him, Frank. I'm sure of it. I was driving back from my daughter's place in Waterloo, and I saw him clear as day. He was moving fine. No limp, no trouble, working like any other construction guy. My stomach did a flip. "Bill, that doesn't make sense. You probably saw someone who looks like him. Tom's disabled. He can't." "Frank." Bill put his hand on my shoulder. "I know what I saw. I'm not saying this to hurt you, but I think you need to check where your money's really going. Maybe do a little digging, for your own sake." He walked away, leaving me standing there with the hedge trimmers in my hand and a sick feeling in my gut. I tried to brush it off. Bill was getting old. Maybe his eyes weren't as sharp as they used to be. Tom wouldn't lie to me. He was my brother. We'd been through everything together. Lost our dad when we were kids, took care of Mom through her cancer, buried her together. But the thought wouldn't leave me alone. All through the weekend, it gnawed at me. By Monday morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I called in sick to work. First time in 3 years. Told them I had the flu. Then I drove out to Route 63, past the new subdivision Bill had mentioned. Sure enough, there was a construction site. Morrison Construction, the same company Tom used to work for. I parked down the road, behind a line of trees where I couldn't be seen. Waited. Nothing for the first hour. Just workers coming and going, trucks hauling materials. I was about to give up, feeling foolish for even being there, when I saw a familiar truck pull into the site. A beat-up Ford F-150, gray, with a dent in the passenger door. Tom's truck. My hands gripped the steering wheel. Had to be a coincidence. Maybe he was just visiting old co-workers. Maybe someone borrowed his truck. Then the driver's door opened, and Tom stepped out. Not shuffled, not limped. Stepped out like a healthy man. He walked around to the truck bed, grabbed a tool belt, strapped it on, and headed toward the framing on a half-built house. I watched him climb a ladder. A ladder. 20 feet up, maybe more. Moving like there wasn't a damn thing wrong with his back. My vision went blurry. I don't know if it was anger or tears or both. I sat there for 2 hours, watching my brother work, carrying lumber, using a pneumatic nail gun, climbing up and down that ladder like a man half his age. The man who'd been telling me for 3 years that he could barely get out of bed. The man I'd sent $20,000 to because he couldn't work. At noon, the workers took a lunch break. Tom sat on a pile of lumber with another guy, laughing about something. Pulled out a sandwich from a cooler. Looked happy, healthy, strong. I drove home in a daze. Didn't know what to do. Confront him? Call the police? Part of me still wanted to believe there was an explanation. Maybe his back had healed, and he was just doing light work to ease back into it. Maybe he was embarrassed to tell me he'd recovered because he didn't want me to stop helping him. But $500 a month for 3 years? That was an embarrassment. When I got home, I did something I'm not proud of. I logged into my bank account and started going through 3 years of statements. Every $500 transfer to Tom's account, all documented. Then I did some math. $500 times 36 months, plus the extra amounts. 28 cents total. $20,800. Money I'd earned standing on my feet 8 to 10 hours a day at the hardware store. Money I'd earned giving up my Saturdays. Money I'd earned instead of saving for my own retirement. Instead of fixing the roof that's been leaking in the spare bedroom. Instead of taking a vacation for the first time in a decade. I felt sick. Actually sick. Went to the bathroom and threw up. The next Sunday, I went to Tom's apartment like I always did. Brought groceries like I always did. He was in his recliner like always, TV playing some basketball game. "Hey, Frank," he said, not even looking at me. "Thanks for the groceries. You're a lifesaver." I set the bags on the kitchen counter. My hands were shaking. "How you feeling today, Tom?" You know. Same old, same old. Back's killing me. Had to take 3 pain pills this morning just to get out of bed." I looked at him. Really looked at him. Searching for guilt. For anything that would show he knew what he was doing. But he just sat there, watching the game, eating chips from a bag. "You get out at all this week?" I asked, keeping my voice casual. "Nah, just to physical therapy on Wednesday." Even that wore me out. Came home and slept for 4 hours. Lies. All lies. I'd seen him Wednesday afternoon, climbing that ladder, carrying lumber. "Tom," I said slowly, "if you needed more money, you could just tell me. You don't have to pretend to be worse off than you are." He finally looked at me. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that I saw you working construction last week." The color drained from his face. For a second, just a second, I saw panic. Then it was gone, replaced by confusion. "Frank, I don't know what you think you saw, but I saw you at the Morrison construction site on Route 63, climbing ladders, carrying plywood, working a full day like there's nothing wrong with you." He stood up from the recliner. Too fast. No wincing. No pain. Just stood up like a healthy man. Then he caught himself and grabbed his back, playing it up. "You're mistaken. That wasn't me. I was here all day Wednesday, I told you. Don't." My voice came out harder than I meant. "Don't lie to me anymore. I sat there for 2 hours. I saw you. Your truck. Your face. Everything." Tom's jaw clenched. We stared at each other. "How long?" I asked. "How long have you been working?" He didn't answer. "How long, Tom?" "About a year," he finally muttered. "A year." I'd sent him $6,000 in the last year alone. While he was working. While he was earning a paycheck. "Why?" The word came out broken. "Why would you do this to me?" "You don't understand," he said, defensive now. "The money you send, it's not that much. I needed it for other things. I've got plans, Frank. Things I'm working toward." "Plans?" "What plans?" He wouldn't look at me. "Just plans." "None of your business." Something in me snapped. "None of my business? I've sent you over $20,000. I work myself into the ground to help you. And it's none of my business what you're doing with it." "I never asked you to," he shot back. "You offered. You wanted to play the hero, the good big brother. That's on you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Mom made me promise to take care of you." "Yeah, well, Mom's dead. And you know what? I'm tired of being treated like the family screw-up, like I can't take care of myself. You've always looked down on me, Frank. Always been the responsible one. The one who did everything right. Meanwhile, I'm just the disappointment." "That's not true." "It is true. So yeah, I took your money. You wanted to feel needed, and I needed money. It worked out for both of us." I felt like I'd been punched. This wasn't my brother. This wasn't the kid I'd grown up with, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who'd cried at Mom's funeral. "I want the money back," I said quietly. Tom laughed. Actually laughed. "Good luck with that. It's spent." "Spent on what?" "Like I said, none of your business." I left. Didn't even take the groceries back. Just walked out, got in my car, and drove home. Sat in my driveway for an hour, trying to process what had just happened. Bill Patterson came over that evening. Must have seen my car sitting in the driveway and figured something was up. "You okay, Frank?" I told him everything. The construction site, the confrontation, all of it. Bill listened, then shook his head. "I'm sorry, Frank. I really am. But you need to report this. This is fraud. If he was collecting disability payments while working under the table, that's a crime. He's my brother. He's a thief. And he doesn't seem to care that he's been stealing from you for years. I knew Bill was right. But the thought of turning Tom in made me feel sick. We were family. The last family either of us had. Let me do some digging first, Bill said. Quiet-like. I still have some friends in the department and at the county office. Let's find out what else your brother's been up to. Over the next week, Bill made some calls. What he found out made everything worse. Tom had been collecting workers' compensation for the first year after his accident, but the insurance company had cut him off after that, when their own investigators found insufficient evidence of ongoing disability. So for the last 2 years, he'd been working construction jobs under the table, getting paid in cash to avoid a paper trail. But here's the part that really got me. Tom had been depositing my $500 monthly payments, plus his cash earnings, into a separate savings account. An account I knew nothing about, and that account had $43,000 in it. $43,000. There's more, Bill said, showing me a printout. I did some digging into public records. Your brother bought a piece of land last year, 4 acres out past Waverly. Paid $35,000 cash for it. Land? What for? He's building a house. Or planning to. Already got the permits pulled. Looks like he's been using you and his construction work to fund his little dream project. I felt numb. My brother had been lying to me for years, using my money to build himself a life while I worked double shifts and ate frozen dinners. What do you want to do, Frank? Bill asked. I thought about it for a long time. Part of me wanted to just walk away, cut Tom out of my life, and be done with it. But another part, the part that remembered Mom's promise, the part that remembered teaching Tom to ride a bike when he was 6, couldn't just let it go. I want my money back, I said, and I want him to face what he's done. Bill nodded. Then we do this right. Document everything, file a police report, and let the law handle it. That's exactly what we did. I gathered 3 years of bank statements showing the transfers. Bill got statements from the construction company confirming Tom had been working there for the past year. We filed a police report for fraud and theft by deception. The police took it seriously. Apparently, financial exploitation of family members is a bigger problem than most people realize, and they'd been cracking down on it. 2 weeks later, 2 officers showed up at Tom's apartment. I wasn't there, but Bill told me what happened. Tom tried to deny everything at first. But when they showed him the evidence, the bank records, the witness statements from the construction site, he folded. They arrested him, charged him with theft by deception and fraud. The prosecutor's office offered him a deal: pay back the money he'd stolen, plus penalties, or face trial. Tom called me from jail. First time we'd spoken since that confrontation in his apartment. Frank, you got me arrested? Your own brother? You stole from me for 3 years. I needed that money. For what? To build a house? You had $43,000 saved up, Tom. You didn't need my money. You wanted it. There's a difference. Silence on the line. I thought we were family, he finally said, and his voice cracked. So did I replied. Family doesn't lie to each other. Family doesn't steal from each other. You made your choices. He hung up. The legal process took 6 months. Tom eventually took the plea deal. He had to sell the land he'd bought and use the proceeds to pay me back. Didn't cover everything, but I got $16,000 back. The court also ordered him to pay a $5,000 fine and do 200 hours of community service. He never apologized. Not once. Even at the sentencing hearing, when he had the chance to speak, he just glared at me from across the courtroom. I haven't spoken to Tom since. Changed my phone number, blocked him on everything. Bill says he moved to Cedar Rapids, got a job at a different construction company. Starting over, I guess. People around town found out, of course. Small town gossip being what it is. Some folks told me I did the right thing. Others said I was too hard on him, that family should forgive. A few even said I was wrong to turn him in, that it's between family and should have stayed private. I don't know if I did the right thing. Some days I feel justified. He stole from me, lied to me, used me, He deserved consequences. Other days, I feel guilty. He's my brother, my only brother, the last family I have, and I put him in jail. But then I remember the look on his face when he said, "I never asked you to." The casual way he dismissed 3 years of my sacrifice. The fact that he felt entitled to my money, my work, my life, and I remember what Bill told me. "Frank, you didn't put him in jail. He put himself there. You just stopped letting him get away with it." I'm 62 years old now, same age as when this all started, but I feel older, wiser maybe, or just tired. I don't work double shifts anymore. Cut back to my regular 40 hours. Fixed the leak in my spare bedroom roof. Even took a weekend fishing trip to Minnesota last month. First vacation I've had in years. The $16,000 I got back, put half in savings for retirement. Used the other half to finally do something for myself. Bought a nice recliner, the good kind, and a new TV. Got a fishing boat. Nothing fancy. Just a little one, 4-footer. Small things, but they feel significant. I think about Tom sometimes. Wonder if he ever thinks about me. If he regrets what he did, or if he still thinks he was justified. If he misses having a brother, or if I was just a paycheck to him. I miss him, in a way. Miss the brother I thought he was. But that person, the one I thought I knew, maybe he never really existed. Maybe I just saw what I wanted to see because he was family, and family is supposed to mean something. Now I know better. Family means something when both people honor it. When both people show up, tell the truth, and care about each other. It doesn't mean anything when it's one-sided. When it's just one person sacrificing while the other one takes and takes and takes. I learned that the hard way. Cost me $20,000 and a brother to figure it out. But I'm okay now. Really. I am. I've got Bill and the other neighbors. Got my job at the hardware store. My little house on Elm Street. My fishing boat. It's a simple life. But it's mine. And nobody's taking advantage of it anymore. And if there's one thing I want people to know, especially people who might be in a similar situation, it's this. Love doesn't mean letting someone use you. Helping family doesn't mean enabling lies. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is stop the cycle, even if it hurts. Trust me, I know. I lived it. So yeah, that's my story. 3 years of sending my brother $500 a month, thinking I was helping him survive. Turns out, I was just funding his dreams, while sacrificing my own. Where are you watching from right now? Have you ever had someone close to you betray your trust? I hope not. But if you have, I hope you know you're not alone. And I hope you know that standing up for yourself, even against family, doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who finally learned their worth.